She loves writing fantasy until she overhears whispers about a real-life mafia boss. Inspired, she pens an intimate love story about him, and it goes viral. Now she has no idea what will happen next. Riley Harper had a secret. Well, several secrets actually. Secret number 1. The sweet, innocent 22-year-old college student who still wore cartoon pajamas and collected stuffed animals was also the best-selling erotic romance author, R.H. Nightingale, on What novel. Secret number 2. Despite writing the steamiest, most passionate love scenes that made her readers scream in the comments, Riley had never actually been kissed. Never had a boyfriend. Never done any of the things her characters did with such enthusiastic detail. Secret number 3. Her latest story, the one that was currently breaking all her previous records with over 10 million reads in just 2 weeks, was about him. Zane Cross. The most dangerous man in the city. The Mafia king who controlled everything from the docks to the casinos to half the politicians in government. The man whose name people whispered in fear. And Riley had written 50,000 words of explicit fantasy about him. She hadn't meant for it to get this big. She'd just been sitting in her favorite cafe, overhearing 2 men talking in hushed tones about Cross's latest kill and how he doesn't feel anything, not even when he pulls the trigger. And her writer brain had gone. What would it take to make a man like that feel something? So she'd gone home, opened her laptop and written. And written. And written. The Devil's Heart was born. A story about a cold, ruthless mafia boss named Xander, totally not based on anyone real, she'd told herself, who meets an innocent writer who makes him feel for the first time in his life. The story was raw, passionate, full of tension and forbidden moments and scenes that made even Riley blush while writing them, despite having zero personal experience with any of it. Her readers ate it up. Comments flooded in. "This is the best thing you've ever written." "I'm literally screaming, the chapter 23 scene against the wall. Dead. The way Xander is so cold but so obsessed with her. I need this man." But then came the comment that made Riley's blood run cold. "Wait, Xander sounds exactly like Zane Cross. Same scar on his eyebrow, same tattoos, same way of talking. R.H. Nightingale, are you writing fan fiction about a real mafia boss? Girl, you're brave or crazy." Then another. "OMG, I see it now. She's totally writing about Zane Cross. Even the nightclub scene sounds like his actual club." And another. "This just became 100x hotter knowing it's based on a real person. Zane Cross, if you're reading this, marry her." Riley had deleted the story immediately. Too late. Screenshots were everywhere. People were sharing it on social media. A TikTok video comparing her story descriptions to real photos of Zane Cross had gone viral. She was doomed. Absolutely, completely doomed. 300 miles away, in a luxury penthouse overlooking the city, Zane Cross was having a very irritating morning. At 30 years old, Zane had built an empire on fear and respect. He was 6'3" of solid muscle and cold calculation. A scar cut through his left eyebrow, a gift from his first kill at age 16. Tattoos covered his arms, each one representing a territory he controlled or an enemy he destroyed. He didn't smile, didn't laugh, didn't feel much of anything, really. His therapist, the one his concerned second-in-command had forced him to see, said he had emotional detachment issues stemming from childhood trauma. Zane said he had a very efficient way of doing business without messy feelings getting in the way. So when his best friend and only confidant, Adrian, burst into his office laughing so hard he could barely breathe, Zane was immediately suspicious. "What?" Zane asked, not looking up from the contract he was reviewing. A contract that would give him control of the eastern docks, signed in blood from 3 different gang leaders. Adrian couldn't even get the words out. "You have to," more laughter. "Spit it out before I shoot you for wasting my time." Adrian dropped his phone on Zane's desk, still wheezing with laughter. "Read, chapter 23. Zane glanced at the phone. It showed some kind of story website. I don't read fiction. You'll want to read this one, trust me. Something in Adrian's voice made Zane pick up the phone. The story was called The Devil's Heart by R.H. Nightingale. He started reading. His jaw clenched. His eyes narrowed. By the time he got to chapter 23, the scene that apparently had the internet losing its mind, his knuckles were white around the phone. The character Xander was him, not just similar, him down to the scar, the tattoos, the exact layout of his penthouse, his nightclub, even the fucking way he took his whiskey. And this Xander was doing very explicit things to the innocent writer character, against walls, on desks, in ways that were described in vivid, creative detail. Who wrote this? Zane's voice was deadly calm. Some romance writer, R.H. Nightingale. No one knows her real identity. Adrian was still grinning. The whole internet is going crazy because she basically wrote porn about you. 10 million people have read it. There are TikToks, memes, it's everywhere. Find her. What? Zane's eyes were ice. Find out who R.H. Nightingale is. I want a name, an address, everything. Zane, come on, it's just some girl with a crush. She wrote intimate details about my life, my penthouse, my club, things she shouldn't know. Zane stood, and even Adrian, who'd known him for 20 years, took a step back. Either she's been spying on me or someone's been talking. Either way, I'm going to find out who she is. And then what? A cold smile crossed Zane's face. Then I'll teach her what happens when someone uses me for their fantasies. Riley was hiding. She'd called in sick to her classes, locked herself in her apartment, and was seriously considering changing her name and moving to another country. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Her story, even though she deleted it, was being shared everywhere. Someone had saved the entire thing and re-uploaded it. There were fan arts, video edits. And worst of all, people were trying to figure out who she was. Please, universe, she prayed to her stuffed bear collection on her bed. Please don't let Zane Cross find out about this. I'm too young to die. I haven't even been kissed yet. I can't die a virgin who wrote porn about a mafia boss. Her laptop pinged, a message on her writing platform. New comment on The Devil's Heart. Really good story, very detailed. How did you know about my penthouse layout? Z. Riley's heart stopped. No. No. It couldn't be. She clicked on the profile. Brand new account. Created 5 minutes ago. Username, ZC Official. Another comment appeared. Chapter 23 was particularly interesting. Very creative. I'd like to discuss it with you in person. Check your email. Z. With shaking hands, Riley opened her email. One new message, from an address that was just a series of numbers. The subject line, "We need to talk." The email read, "Dear R.H. Nightingale, or should I say Riley Harper, I'm impressed by your creativity. 10 million readers is quite an achievement. However, I believe we should discuss your use of certain details in your story, details about my private life, my businesses, and apparently your very vivid imagination about what I do in my bedroom. I'll be at your apartment tomorrow at 8 p.m. Be there. Don't run, I'll find you anyway. Regards, Zane Cross." P.S. Chapter 23 had some factual inaccuracies. I'd be happy to provide corrections. Riley slammed her laptop shut and screamed into her pillow. She was going to die tomorrow at 8 p.m. Killed by the mafia boss she'd written fanfiction about. This was not how she'd imagined her life ending. The next evening, at exactly 7:45 p.m., Riley had packed a bag and was seriously considering climbing out her window. She lived on the 4th floor, but maybe if she tied bedsheets together. A knock on the door. Riley froze. It was only 7:45. He was early. Of course the mafia boss was early, probably to throw her off balance before he killed her. Another knock, firmer this time. "I know you're in there, Miss Harper. I can hear you panicking." That voice, deep, cold, commanding. Exactly how she'd imagined it when writing. Oh God. I'm calling the police, she shouted at the door. No, you're not, he sounded amused. Because then you'd have to explain why you wrote sexually explicit material about me without my consent. That's a lawsuit at minimum. He had a point. Riley took a deep breath, sent a quick text to her best friend Emma with her location, and if I die, avenge me, and opened the door. And immediately forgot how to breathe. Photos didn't do Zane cross justice. He was massive, easily 6'3", built like he could snap her in half without trying. Dark hair perfectly styled, sharp jawline, those dark eyes that seemed to see right through her, the scar through his eyebrow, tattoos peeking out from his black suit. He looked exactly like she'd described Xander. Because she'd been describing him. You're shorter than I expected, were the first words out of his mouth. You're ruder than I expected, Riley shot back before her brain could stop her mouth. Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, amusement. May I come in, or are we going to have this conversation in the hallway? Riley stepped aside, and Zane walked into her small apartment. He looked completely out of place among her colorful throw pillows, fairy lights, and shelf full of stuffed animals. His eyes scanned the room, taking in every detail. Interesting decor. I wasn't expecting company, especially not mafia bosses who threatened to sue me. I didn't threaten to sue, I said it was a possibility. He turned to face her. Sit. This is my apartment. Sit, Miss Harper, before we discuss why you know details about my life that you shouldn't. Riley sat on her couch. Zane sat across from her in her reading chair, somehow making the floral armchair look threatening. I didn't spy on you, she said quickly. I swear, I overheard people talking about you in a cafe, and then I saw some photos online, and my imagination kind of ran away with me. Your imagination wrote 50,000 words of very detailed fantasy. Riley's face burned. I'm a writer. That's what I do. I take small details and build stories. I didn't mean for it to go viral. I deleted it as soon as I realized people were connecting it to you. Too late, it's everywhere now. He leaned back, studying her. 10 million people have read your fantasies about me. I'm sorry, I'll issue an apology. I'll say it was completely fictional. You'll do nothing. His voice cut through her rambling. The story stays up. Riley blinked. What? I said, the story stays up. In fact, I want you to continue writing it. Why? A cold smile crossed his face. Because it's good for business. People fear me more when they think I'm the kind of man you wrote about. Dangerous, obsessive, possessive. It adds to my reputation. So you're not going to kill me? Kill you? He looked genuinely surprised. No, why would I kill my favorite author? Riley's brain short-circuited. Your favorite. I read all 50,000 words last night. It's well written. The character development is strong. The tension builds nicely. He paused. Though, as I mentioned, chapter 23 has some inaccuracies. Inaccuracies, Riley repeated faintly. Yes, for example, you wrote that Xander pins the girl against the wall with his right hand. I'm left-handed. I'd use my left. He said this completely seriously, like they were discussing the weather. Riley's face was on fire. You're critiquing my smut scene. I'm offering constructive feedback. If you're going to write about me, at least get the details right. I wasn't writing about you. Xander is fictional. Xander is me with 2 letters changed. You even gave him the same scar. Zane stood, moving toward her. Here's what's going to happen, Miss Harper. You're going to continue writing your story, and in exchange, I'll make sure no one bothers you about it. He was close now, too close. Riley had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. And if I refuse? You won't. His hand came up and Riley flinched, but he just tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Because you're curious. You want to know if the reality matches your fantasy. I don't. You do. You wrote 50,000 words imagining what it would be like to be with me. Now you're wondering if I'm really as cold as they say, if I really don't feel anything, if someone could make me feel. Riley's heart was racing. You're very arrogant. I'm very observant. He stepped back. I'll be in touch, Miss Harper. Keep writing. And next time you write an intimate scene, try to get the details right. He walked to the door, then paused. Oh, and Miss Harper, if you're going to write about my bedroom activities, you should probably get some actual experience first. Your innocence shows in the writing. How did you? You write like someone who researches everything but has experienced nothing. It's charming but unrealistic. He smiled, actually smiled, and it was terrifying and beautiful at once. Maybe I'll help you with your research. Then he was gone, leaving Riley standing in her apartment, heart racing, mind spinning. What the hell just happened? Over the next week, Riley's life became surreal. She continued writing The Devil's Heart, because what else was she going to do? The story was already everywhere. But now, she had a very unusual beta reader. Every chapter she posted, she'd get a comment from ZC Official. Good chapter, but Xander wouldn't say darling. Too soft, he'd say baby or just her name. The club scene is accurate, nice research. This kissing scene is better, but you're still writing like someone who's never been kissed. It shows. The comments were infuriating, helpful, and deeply embarrassing. Meanwhile, strange things started happening. The coffee shop that had banned her for writing inappropriate content on their Wi-Fi suddenly called to apologize and offer her free coffee for life. Her landlord, who'd been threatening to raise her rent, suddenly dropped it by half. A publisher who'd rejected her original romance novel 3 times suddenly called begging to sign her. Did you do this? Riley texted to the number Zane had left her. Do what? Came the reply. You know what, the coffee shop, the rent, the publisher. I have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe you're just lucky. Zane. Yes, baby. Riley stared at her phone. He'd called her baby, like Xander did in her story. Don't call me that. Why not? You like it when Xander says it. Xander is fictional. Keep telling yourself that. New chapter tonight. Maybe. I'll be waiting. This was insane. She was texting with a Mafia boss who was critiquing her romance novel about him. Her phone rang. Zane. She answered. What? Dinner, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Is this a request or a threat? It's neither, it's research. Research. For your story, you're writing a dinner scene next, aren't you? Chapter 32, Xander takes the girl to his restaurant. How did you? I haven't even posted that yet. You mentioned it in your author's notes. I want you to get the details right. So dinner, my restaurant, tomorrow. I don't think. Don't think, just say yes. What if I say no? You won't. You're very sure of yourself. I'm very sure of you. His voice dropped. You're dying to know if I'm really like Xander, if the reality matches the fantasy. So come to dinner, Riley. Let me show you. He hung up before she could respond. Riley screamed into her pillow again. This man was going to drive her insane. But God help her, she was going to that dinner. Zane's restaurant was exactly as she described in her story. Elegant, expensive, exclusive. Riley felt completely out of place in her simple black dress and nervous energy. A hostess led her to a private room in the back, and there he was. Zane Cross, looking unfairly handsome in a dark suit, sitting at a table set for 2. You came, he said, standing. You knew I would. Yes, but I'm still pleased. He pulled out her chair. As they sat, Riley noticed they were completely alone. Where is everyone? I booked the entire restaurant for the night. That's excessive. I don't like interruptions. He poured her wine. Drink, you look like you need it. She did. This is weird. What is? This, you, me, having dinner like normal people when you're a mafia boss and I wrote porn about you. It wasn't porn. It was erotica. There's a difference. You would know the difference. I read a lot. He smiled slightly. Mostly your work. Riley's face heated. Stop that. Stop what? Being charming. It's unsettling. I'm not being charming. I'm being honest. He leaned back, studying her. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? Someone more calculated. Someone who wrote that story to get my attention deliberately. But you're just a girl who let her imagination run wild. I'm not a girl. I'm 22. You collect stuffed animals and wear cartoon pajamas. How do you know about You've been watching me. I protect my interests, and you, Riley Harper, have become very interesting to me. Dinner arrived. Dishes she hadn't ordered, but that were exactly what she would have chosen if she'd looked at the menu. You ordered for me. I pay attention. He watched her take a bite. Good. It was incredible. It's fine. Liar, you just moaned. I did not. You did. It's cute. You make the same sound when you're writing an emotional scene. I can tell because you post in real time and I watch your status updates. Riley put down her fork. This is stalking. This is research. You wrote about me. I'm learning about you. It's only fair. Nothing about this is fair. You're a dangerous criminal and I'm a college student who made a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. Zane's voice was serious now. Your story is the first time I've been portrayed as someone capable of feeling something. Everyone else writes me as a monster. You wrote me as a man. Xander is a man. You're... What? Tell me, Riley, what am I? She met his eyes. I don't know yet. Then keep writing. Figure it out. He reached across the table, his hand covering hers. And maybe I'll figure out what you are too. What I am. The girl who made me curious for the first time in 10 years. The dinner became a regular thing. Every week, Zane would text her. Dinner, research, my place this time. And every week, Riley would tell herself she wasn't going. And every week, she'd show up. They'd eat, talk, argue about her story. This scene in chapter 40, Zane said one night, sitting on her couch. Somehow he'd started just showing up at her apartment. Where Xander gets jealous, it's good, but... But what? I'm not that restrained. If I saw you with another man, I wouldn't just clench my fists and glare. What would you do? His eyes locked on hers. I'd make it very clear who you belong to. I don't belong to anyone. Not yet. The tension in the room was suffocating. Riley stood up. You should go. Why? Because this, she gestured between them, isn't research anymore. No, it's not. He stood too, moving closer. It stopped being research around dinner number 3. Then what is it? You tell me. You're the writer, put it into words. I can't. Because you don't know, or because you're scared to say it. Both. Zane's hand came up to cup her face. I've killed men without hesitation, run an empire built on fear, never felt guilty, never felt much of anything. And then a girl writes a story imagining I could feel, and suddenly I can't stop thinking about her. Zane. You wrote that Xander doesn't believe in love until he meets her, that he thinks he's incapable of it, and she proves him wrong. His thumb traced her cheekbone. Is that what you think? That someone could make me feel? I don't know. It's just a story. Then make it real. His forehead touched hers. Make me feel something, Riley. I don't know how. Yes, you do. You've been doing it for months, every chapter, every word. Every time you write Xander looking at her like she's his entire world. His voice dropped to a whisper. Look at me like that. Riley's breath caught. I can't. You can. His lips brushed her forehead. You're braver than you think. You wrote 50,000 words about the most dangerous man in the city. You didn't run when I showed up at your door. You keep having dinner with me even though you're terrified. I'm not terrified of you. Then what are you terrified of? This, she looked up at him, that this is real, that you're not just some character I can control with words, that if I let myself feel this, it'll destroy me. It might. He was completely honest. I'm not a good man, Riley. I'm exactly as dangerous as they say. But with you, I want to be the man you wrote, the one who's capable of something other than destruction. That's too much pressure. Then let me take the pressure off, and he kissed her. It wasn't like she'd written in her stories. It was better. Soft at first, testing. then deeper when she didn't pull away. His hand tangled in her hair, her hands fisted in his shirt. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Riley whispered, "I've never done this before." "I know," he smiled against her lips. "That's why I'm going to take my time." "Zane, write about it after. Tell me if the reality lives up to the fantasy." And he kissed her again, proving that some things were better than fiction. But not everything was perfect. 2 weeks after their first kiss, Riley's world came crashing down. She was at Zane's penthouse, working on her laptop while he handled business in his office, when armed men burst through the door. Riley screamed as rough hands grabbed her, a gun pressed to her temple. "Don't move, sweetheart," a voice growled in her ear. "You're coming with us." Zane appeared in the doorway, gun already drawn, his face a mask of cold fury. "Let her go, Vincent." The man holding Riley laughed. The great Zane Cross brought down by a girl, who would have thought? "I won't ask again." "You killed my brother, now I'm taking what's yours." Vincent's grip tightened on Riley. An eye for an eye. Everything happened so fast. Zane moved like lightning, firing. Vincent's men dropped, but Vincent managed to fire back, and Riley felt Zane's body jerk as the bullet hit his shoulder. "Zane," she screamed. Zane didn't stop. Even bleeding, he crossed the room, ripped Riley from Vincent's grasp, and put 3 bullets in the man's chest. When the smoke cleared, Vincent and his men were dead. And Zane was bleeding heavily from his shoulder. "Oh my God, Zane." Riley's hands pressed against the wound, trying to stop the bleeding. "I'm fine," he gritted out. "You're shot, you're not fine." Adrian burst in with backup, took one look at the scene, and got on the phone calling their private doctor. 20 minutes later, Zane was being stitched up while Riley sat beside him, holding his other hand, tears streaming down her face. "This is my fault," she whispered. "He took me because of the story, because everyone knows I'm connected to you now." "No," Zane's grip on her hand tightened. "Vincent has been planning to move against me for months. You were just an excuse. You could have died. But I didn't, and neither did you. That's all that matters." Riley looked at him, this dangerous man who just killed 5 people without hesitation to save her, who was sitting there with a bullet wound like it was nothing. "I can't do this," she said quietly. His eyes went cold. "What?" "This, us. I'm not built for this world, Zane. I write about danger and violence and darkness, but living it, that's different. I'm just a girl who writes stories. I can't." "You can." His hand cupped her face. "I know you're scared, I know this is a lot, but Riley, you're stronger than you think." "I'm really not. I'm terrified. Constantly. And today proved that being with you means I'm always going to be in danger." "Then I'll make sure you're protected. 24-hour security, bodyguards, whatever you need." "That's not a life, Zane. That's a prison." "Then what do you want?" His voice was rough. "Tell me what you want and I'll give it to you." "I want to feel safe." She was crying now. "I want to not be afraid that every time you leave, you might not come back. I want a normal life." "I can't give you normal." He was brutally honest. "I can give you protected. I can give you loved. I can give you everything I have, but I can't give you normal." Riley pulled away, standing up. Then maybe this was a mistake. The look on Zane's face was devastating. "Don't do this." "I have to, before I get in too deep. She stopped herself. "Before you what?" He stood despite his injury. "Before you fall in love with me. Too late, baby. I see it in your eyes, you already have." "That doesn't change anything." "It changes everything." His voice rose for the first time. "You think I do this for everyone? You think I let just anyone into my life? I've spent 30 years not feeling anything, and then you write a goddamn story and suddenly I can't breathe without thinking about you." "Zane." "I love you." The words came out raw, desperate. "I love you, Riley Harper, and I know I'm not what you dreamed of. I know I'm dangerous and cold and probably going to get you killed one day. But I love you, and I'm asking, no, I'm begging you not to walk away." Riley's heart shattered. You can't love me. You don't believe in love. I didn't until you. He moved closer despite the pain it clearly caused. You wrote that Xander learns to feel because of her, that she makes him human. You were right. You make me human, Riley. You make me want to be better, to be worthy of you. I can't, her voice broke. Yes, you can. You're the bravest person I know. You wrote 50,000 words about the most dangerous man in the city. You didn't run when I showed up at your door. You've had dinner with me, laughed with me, kissed me despite knowing exactly what I am. His hand found hers. Don't lose your courage now. Riley looked down at their joined hands, at this man who just killed for her, who'd taken a bullet for her, who was standing here bleeding and begging her not to leave. If I stay, she whispered, everything changes. Everything already changed the moment you wrote that first chapter. I'll have to live with bodyguards, with danger, with the constant fear of losing you. Yes. I'll have to watch you leave for dangerous meetings and wonder if you're coming back. Yes. I'll have to be okay with the fact that the man I love has killed people. Yes, he pulled her closer. But you'll also have someone who would burn the world down for you, who will protect you with his last breath, who will love you so completely that nothing else will ever compare. Riley looked up at him, seeing past the Mafia boss to the man underneath, the one who read her stories, who critiqued her chapters, who'd learned to feel because of her. This is insane, she said. I know. We're going to drive each other crazy. Probably. I'm still scared. I know, but I'll keep you safe, I promise. Riley took a shaky breath. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll stay, I'll try. But Zane, if this gets too dangerous. Then we'll figure it out together. He kissed her forehead. I'm not letting you go, Riley. Not now, not ever. As she wrapped her arms around him, careful of his injury, Riley realized something. She'd written Xander's story, but this was their story. Messy, dangerous, real. And maybe that was better than any fiction she could create. 6 months later, Riley posted the final chapter of The Devil's Heart. The comments exploded. They got their happy ending, I'm crying. The way Xander proposed was perfect. This story changed my life. But the comment that made Riley smile was from ZC Official. Well written, accurate details. 10/10, though I think our story is better, Z. She looked across the penthouse, their penthouse now. She'd moved in 3 months ago, though she still kept her old apartment for writing. Zane was on the phone, conducting business, but when he saw her looking, he ended the call. Done with the chapter. The book, the final chapter just posted. He moved to her, pulling her into his arms. How does it feel? Bittersweet. I love the ending, but I'm sad it's over. So write another one. He kissed the top of her head. You're good at it. I already started one. A different genre. Still romance, but lighter. Let me guess. A mafia boss and a writer. Maybe, she grinned up at him. Purely fictional, of course. Of course. His smile was warm now, no trace of the cold mask he used to wear. Need any research help? Always. As he kissed her, Riley thought about how 6 months ago she'd been terrified of this man. Now she couldn't imagine life without him. Yes, there were still bodyguards. Yes, she still got scared when he left for dangerous meetings. Yes, their life was anything but normal. But it was theirs. I love you, she whispered against his lips. I know, he smiled. You wrote it in chapter 53, took you long enough to say it in real life. You love me too. You say it all the time now. Because it's true. His eyes were soft in a way no one else ever got to see. You made me feel, Riley Harper, you made me human. The least I can do is tell you I love you every day. That's the most romantic thing you've ever said to me. Don't tell anyone. I have a reputation to protect. She laughed, and he smiled. That rare, genuine smile that was only ever for her. Emma called, Riley said. She wants to meet for coffee tomorrow. Take 2 bodyguards. Zane. 2 bodyguards or you don't go. You're impossible. I'm protective, there's a difference. He tucked her hair behind her ear. I almost lost you once. I won't risk it again. Riley sighed but nodded. She'd learned to pick her battles. Fine, 2 bodyguards, but they have to sit at a different table. Emma thinks they're creepy. Emma needs to mind her business. Emma is my best friend. Who once told you that you should just apologize to the Mafia boss who showed up at your door instead of calling the police? He raised an eyebrow. Her judgment is questionable. Riley burst out laughing. She was trying to be practical. She was being reckless. 2 bodyguards, final answer. You're such a control freak. Only about the things that matter. He pulled her close. And you matter more than anything. Riley leaned into him, feeling his heartbeat steady and strong against her cheek. A heart that everyone said was cold, that he himself had believed was broken. But she'd known better. She'd written better. And now, here they were, living proof that sometimes the stories we imagine can come true. Hey, Zane. Ahem. You know how in chapter 57, Xander proposes? His arms tightened around her. I'm aware. You said you'd propose when you were ready, that it would be more romantic than anything I'd written. I did say that. It's been 6 months. Are you rushing me? I'm just saying, I wrote a really good proposal scene. It set a high bar. He laughed, really laughed, the sound filling the penthouse. Is the best-selling romance author giving me notes on how to propose? I'm just saying, chapter 57 was very good. He dropped to one knee. Riley's hands flew to her mouth. From his pocket, Zane pulled out a ring. Simple, elegant, a single diamond that caught the light like a star. I was going to do this next week, he said, his voice low. At the restaurant, candles, the whole thing. Adrian helped me plan it. Then why? Because you're looking at me with those eyes, the same eyes I fell in love with, and I can't wait another week. He looked up at her. You wrote our story, Riley. You imagined a cold, broken man learning to love. And you were right. You were right about everything. You saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. Zane, she was crying now. I don't deserve you, I know that. But I'm selfish enough to want you anyway. To want forever with you. To want to wake up next to you every morning and fall asleep with you every night. His voice was rough with emotion. Marry me, Riley Harper. Let me spend the rest of my life being the man you always believed I could be. The room was silent, except for her soft crying. Yes, she whispered. Yes, obviously yes, you impossible man. He slid the ring onto her finger and stood, lifting her into his arms, her feet leaving the ground as he held her. The proposal in chapter 57 better, he murmured against her hair. Much better, she sobbed happily. Don't tell Adrian I cried. He's going to find out anyway. He has cameras everywhere. Zane. His laughter echoed through the penthouse. And in that moment, Riley thought about the girl she'd been 6 months ago, hiding under her stuffed animals, terrified of the man she dared to imagine could feel. She'd written him capable of love. And he'd made it real. The end. She wrote him as a man capable of love. He became that man for her. And together, they wrote a better story than either could have imagined alone. Because the best love stories aren't the ones we write. They're the ones we live.